I know. We all love discussing Star Wars, don't we? And I've been doing a lot of it the last few weeks, and I don't know, I've been kind of reinvigorated talking Star Wars lately, and I'm not really sure why. With all the bullcrap going on with Star Wars lately and everything, maybe it's just because of that. Maybe because there is so much bullcrap going on, and I just want to talk and speak the truth of the matter, right? Right? Well, let's get into it here, because this one's really interesting, because there's this guy Jacob on Twitter, and he's pretty much what you would call a troll. He loves to just rile up the fans, rile up the audiences. He always likes to try and make it seem like the sequel trilogy is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I caught him in a little bit of a lie, a little bit of a kerfuffle, as you will, this past weekend, as he was talking about John Boyega's character Finn, and how basically, this is what he says. He goes, if anything needs to happen in the post-sequel trilogy era, it's Finn embracing his Force sensitivity and fully becoming a Jedi. It's only become more clear that this was the original plan for his character, but so much ended up being cut from Episode 9, he still deserves so much better. And this is one thing I think maybe that I've ever agreed with him on here, because Finn was an amazing character full of potential. In The Force Awakens, that idea, that aspect of a character, a former stormtrooper trying to remove himself from that equation, trying to better himself, be one with the resistance, with the rebellion, and fight back against the the First Order. That was so intriguing. So much more intriguing than, who am I? Just Rey. Like that, to me, that was so much more intriguing. But let's get down to what would have made so much more sense. What would have worked so much more for this character, for the story of the sequel trilogy? Because, there's been the debate for so long. I even put this on my own Twitter here. Where did it go? I thought I had it posted. Maybe not. Oh, man. I thought I had it pinned. There it is. Let's say everything about the sequels was the same except Rey's lineage in the final line of The Rise of Skywalker, because that was dumb. What bloodline should she have been? Skywalker, Kenobi, Palpatine, no change at all. And a lot of people are saying Kenobi. And, this gets down to the fact of the matter is that people were not fans of the idea that Rey was a nobody, of Rey being a nobody. If you remember that after The Last Jedi, there was a lot of divisiveness around that idea. People just were not a fan of that whole aspect, that whole idea that Rey is just a nobody. And the reason for that is because the Star Wars saga, the episodic films, was dubbed and has been dubbed the Skywalker saga. It is the Skywalker saga. The main protagonist should always be a Skywalker. And don't give me that bullcrap that Kylo Ren was a Skywalker. Yes, by blood, he kind of was a Skywalker, but he was the antagonist. And it's okay. You can have more than one Skywalker in the films. You take a look at the original trilogy. You had Anakin Skywalker, the protagonist, or the antagonist, and Luke Skywalker, the protagonist. You can have two Skywalkers being both the pro and antagonist. It's okay, you can do that. And they could have done something very similar in that regard with the sequels, having Kylo Ren or Ben Solo the protagonist or the antagonist, and having Rey Skywalker or Rey whatever she is being the protagonist. And that would have made a lot more sense because of it being the Skywalker saga. But the idea, the aspect of anybody being able to be a Jedi, I get the beauty and the desire to see that happen. And I've always said, for years, I said, well, if you want to do that, you can do that outside the Skywalker saga. You can do that in spin-off films, because that's what that's for. The Skywalker saga is the Skywalker saga. That is about the Skywalkers. So, while I was sitting here thinking about the whole John Boyega thing and Finn, that would have been a perfect opportunity for the nobody to be a Jedi. Because he is a nobody. He doesn't have a past. They didn't have to make him a Calrissian. I know that was discussed as a possibility at one point in time. But he didn't. He could have just been a nobody. He could have been a nobody who became a Jedi. And the turmoil, the fight within of being a stormtrooper and defecting and realizing that he has these abilities, he has this innate ability to use the Force that he has never been able to tap into, but he's always known as there. And starting to tap into it. And imagine the sequel trilogy being this pull. Imagine him being the MacGuffin of sorts, have you, where you have Rey pulling him to the light and Kylo trying to pull him to the dark, and kind of having that. Your antagonist is still Kylo, your protagonist is still Rey. Those are still the main characters, but a little side story is of Finn, of his fight, his battle within, of trying to go to the light but still being pulled to the dark because of how he grew up for the 25 years of his life, of what he was taught. He knows it's wrong, but that's all he knows. But he knows it's wrong, and he wants to be pulled to the light. He wants to go to the light, but he's just constantly pulled back to the dark. And having that idea and the aspect that a nobody can be a Force user, a nobody. He didn't need to be, and it could have been that he was even the key to the end of helping Rey defeat Kylo at the end, defeat the uprising of the dark side at the end. Having that the nobody that a nobody can play a big role in everything. That would have just been so much better than making Rey a nobody, then going back on it, making her a Palpatine. And it's just so much wrong with that sequel trilogy. So much wrong. But let me know your thoughts. I think it's a really cool aspect, a really cool idea. I think it would have been interesting to see them utilize Finn a lot better in that regard. Again, it's always, hindsight is always 20/20, right? You can always see things that are way better when all is said and done. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. With all that said, I'll catch you all later.